The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Good morning. Court Radio is now in session. Call 215-227-2727. When you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. This is Court Radio. And now here's your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio and it is March the 15th, I believe. And today it's going to be nice out. I promise you. It will not be ice. It will not be snow. And I want to thank everybody for stopping by yesterday. But first, let me introduce. He hasn't been here for 17 sessions. The one, the only, David M. Rappaport.
Good morning. Yeah, it's going to be windy today, I hear. Windy. 40-mile-an-hour winds. Windy.
Well, don't use an umbrella today. David?
Yes.
Good to see you here again.
Oh, yeah. I think I was here.
You were here last time, but
yeah,
but you had missed a bunch before that.
I did.
I didn't give you the proper welcome home.
Oh, well, I feel so welcome. Thank you.
No problem.
There was no applause, but, whatever.
We can arrange that.
Okay.
The audience is the audience is compliant. Speaking of the audience,
yes.
I want to just send a shout out to everybody who stopped by yesterday at the Be Beautiful Expo. My Philly Lawyer was at the expo with all our employees and our friends. And David, I have to say, 95% of the people who stopped over and said hello to me said they listen to us every Sunday morning.
Really? So they're listening right now?
Yes, they are. And I want to thank them, for being loyal listeners.
Thank you.
And for coming up and saying hello yesterday. It was really nice. We have to mention yesterday they buried Officer Robert Wilson III.
Right. Honored him.
And they honored him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a moving, really send off to him. There were officers from all over the country who had flown in, driven in, bussed in to Philadelphia to say their goodbyes. A very, very sad day for the Philadelphia Police Department, really for the city, in saying goodbye to Officer Robert Wilson.
I think I heard Mayor Nutter say he was the 8th officer in less than 8 years killed, which is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And also they changed the Medal of Valor to bear his name now in Philadelphia. So if they have to award that, it will have his name on the medal.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. On a lighter note, Patti LaBelle. Patty.
Yes.
Will be doing Dancing with the Stars. We won't going to give Patty's age out, but let's just say that she is a mature woman.
Let's just say we won't say to her break a leg in going on Dancing with her, because she may very well break a leg. No, just kidding, Patty. We love you.
God forbid.
Philly's own. I think she's going to
go far.
Yeah, she's got.
I've never seen the show, but I mean,
well, I don't really watch it either. But I would have to think that she's got some finesse in her. I know she's got finesse in her, and I know she can dance. I mean, I've seen her perform, and she can run around and all that.
You have to take your hat off and applaud her. I mean, it takes, I'm sure, a huge amount of effort and energy to do what she's going to have to do on that show. And she's really got to be in shape. I mean, it's like any other sporting event. At 70, she's involved in a sporting event. Oh, did I say that?
Yeah,
sorry.
It doesn't matter. She's not only a very young 70, but she's so vibrant and involved in so many things. I know that she does a lot of. I don't know if she still does this, but she had like a cooking thing that she did. She's real involved in cooking and had a show, and she's always on other shows, and of course she still performs. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
It's a life's lesson, Stay active, get out there, run around, do crazy things, be young, be young, be young. 215-22. I'm sorry, I didn't give the number.
Oh, I didn't know this.
215-227-2727. As you're listening to David and I, if you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. And I don't know why I have to say that number to get the calls to come in.
Yeah,
but
really.
people should have that number memorized, should be tattooed. It's the only legal number you need in Philly, 215-227-2727. You got legal questions, we probably have the answer.
Or Patti LaBelle questions. And she was on, I didn't know this. She's been recently acting a lot too. She was on American Horror Story. You know that series? I don't watch.
No.
I haven't watched it, but it's on FX, very popular, and on Empire, which is on Fox. She was on both of those.
There you go.
So pretty cool. Yeah.
Hats off to Patty's agent, obviously.
Yeah, well, look, when you have a talent, you can easily market
he
it.
or she is marketing well.
Yeah, and she's good. I mean, it's not like if she wasn't good, they wouldn't want her. But
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the goods.
215-227-2727.
Oh, now see that? All four are lit.
5
lines.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought there were 4.
Yeah, no, we have 5 lines. Also
so
another another My Philly Lawyers in the news story. We got a call from a victim of the Amtrak disaster in North Carolina.
Wow.
Direct from the accident scene, from the hospital, actually, and people inquiring about representation who were victims of that crash. It was horrific. This woman was in the 4th car.
Ugh.
And no warning, no signal, no horn from the train, no braking attempt to brake. That train just went headlong into the side of a huge blue tarp that was covering the tracks. It was, I mean, if you saw it, it never stopped.
I didn't see it, but you actually saw the accident itself?
Yeah.
They had video of it?
Yeah, they have video of it.
Oh, geez.
Somebody on an adjacent road was videoing as the train was coming down the track and crashed into the side of the truck.
Oh,
it was horrific. So we are representing victims of the crash. If you or loved ones have been involved in the Amtrak crash in North Carolina, we have undertaken representation, and we'd be happy to discuss your claims. Give us a call during the week at 215-227-2727. So, David and I want to talk about, right? We want to talk about Septa claims.
Yes.
You know, we represent a lot of people who have been involved in crashes involving Septa. When you go to make a claim against Septa, it's a unique claim that's not.
Is it ever?
Not like any other auto claim.
That's right. Unlike anything ever in the universe.
And it's really. Do you remember when we first started practicing law?
I do.
Do you remember that there were a time when people would come in and say that they were involved in Septa accidents,
right?
But they never really were.
And I think it still happens, but much less. But yes, it used to happen frequently.
Yeah, I mean, they would come in, they'd give you the story. Hey,
right.
I was on this bus. Now, there was a bus accident.
Right. They knew about it, and they just said, I was on it.
Now, we called them what?
We called them what?
Jump-ins.
Is that what? I didn't.
Yeah.
They were called. I didn't know we called them that.
They were called jump-ins.
Jump-ins. Okay, like jumping in the bus, but right after it crashes.
Right after. Right.
Okay.
And so people are very. There's no.
Savvy.
There's no end to what people will do to try to get over or game the system.
Yes. But not only is it much harder now, but
why?
Well, there's a lot of it. One, there's video in every bus.
That's right. Not only is there video in the bus,
right.
There's like 4 cameras in the bus, and then there's like 4 cameras outside in every angle possible. So the good news is we usually know exactly who's at fault for causing an accident.
Right.
And we know what happened to the victims inside the bus.
Exactly.
How many videos have I seen where I'll get a client who comes in and says, I was involved and I was injured, and then Septa will send a video of that accident, and all you'll see is the slightest head bob.
You won't even, sometimes you don't even see that. You don't even know when the accident happened.
And then you'll see people look around, and then they'll start to giggle.
Right.
And then they show up in your office.
Right.
Now, let me just go out here on a limb and say that if that's the type of accident you've been involved in, you need to, when you have an accident, it isn't enough that there was an accident. There has to be an injury.
Of course.
And you have to convince somebody, i.e. a jury, a judge, that you've been injured. Well, if that's the extent of the accident, chances are, even in Philadelphia County, which is rather liberal, you're not going to meet that burden.
Yeah. And there's also other rules that have been set up by Septa to thwart not only the jump in, but any other type of claim that maybe shouldn't be honored. But we'll go over them as the day goes on, or the show goes on.
If you've been involved in a Septa accident, if you've had a bad experience or a good experience in being involved in a Septa, if it's ended well for you, or just give us a call. Let us know your experience involving Septa and their claims. 215-227-2727. And not only motor vehicle accidents.
No.
We've represented a lot of people with slip and falls.
Well, I was just going to say that, yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I could say to everyone out there right now is, and you're probably unaware of this, but if you slip and fall at any SEPTA-owned station, property, or whatever, if you slipped on any debris that happens to be there, that's not part of the station itself. In other words, like a broken step or something like that. If it's just freestanding debris, you are not going to be able to make a claim against SEPTA for your injuries. If you slipped on a banana peel, if you slipped on some trash, if you slipped on some water even that wasn't from, let's say, a broken pipe that was on that SEPTA property, it just happened to be water from rain or whatever, you will not be able to make a claim. I don't know if many people knew. In fact, I know people don't know that because they come all the time to the office.
Or how
say,
about
"I slipped?"
somebody coming off of a bus? and there's somebody dropped a coffee.
Right.
And the bus driver saw it.
Yeah, that doesn't even matter.
And he looked back and he saw the coffee and he said, "Oh, I'll get to that later."
Right.
Claim?
No. And what I think what we're really going to spend time on today is going through all the type of circumstances that you can't make a claim on a bus, like the jerk and jolt things, which we'll explain, and whether they'll pay your medicals or not, and what circumstances. There's a lot of, as you can imagine, a lot of immunities given to SEPTA, because, we give immunities in this country to the kings and queens of our society. And I guess SEPTA is considered somewhat of a king.
Well, it's a Commonwealth agency.
Yeah, it's an agency of the king. And so there you go.
All right. We're going to get your questions answered. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Junior on line 2. Southwest Philly. Junior, welcome to Court Radio.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
All right.
We're doing well, thanks. What's your question, sir?
Hey, my question is, when you go for a mortgage and you stay 1 month behind, but you keep paying payment, can they foreclose on your property?
Wait. How'd you become Junior?
Why you say that?
Were you named Junior, or is it like Peter Jr. or something? Is it Junior just your nickname, or is it your real name?
It's J.R.
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 There you go. So what's your real first name? Come on.
Kevin.
Kevin. All right, Kevin.
That's a lie.
Now,
He hesitated. I can tell.
Kevin, let me ask you this question.
You guys are like detectives.
Oh, I'm right, though, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Kevin.
You're absolutely right. I got to give it to you. You're absolutely right.
Okay, well, so
That's why I was surprised when you say, how did you get to be Junior?
Well, you know what? It wasn't a stretch because you said J.R. and then you said your name was Kevin. So, I mean, it wasn't kind of a stretch for me.
All right, Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin,
right.
wink, wink.
Wink, wink, yeah. Quote, unquote, Kevin. Let's go.
I lost the court already.
Well, let me say this. If you're a month behind on your mortgage, you're technically in violation of the agreement that you have with the mortgage company. You've got two agreements with them. One's a mortgage, which enables them to take the property back if you violate the agreement, and the agreement is called the note. Note and mortgage together make up your loan. And when you have, when it says that you're to pay on time and then you pay 30 days late, yes, that's a violation. And any violation, they can begin to, end your relationship with them by voiding the agreement, by taking the property back. No end to what they can do to you. As long as you're in violation of the agreement. And it doesn't have to be a major violation. You don't have to be late or miss 5 payments in order for that to happen. Now, as a practical matter, I would think if all you are is consistently 30 days late, but you're paying now. You got to pay the late charge too each month. Otherwise, that's going to keep accumulating. But if you're paying your payments and you're just 30 days late, I would think that most mortgage companies wouldn't bother with somebody like that. But legally, if you're asking me, legally they can.
Yeah, but let me ask you this question. How come is it that if you pay a mortgage payment for the last 13 or 14 years, on time, every month, and then this suddenly happens to you due to job separation or whatever?
Yep.
How is that fair to the consumer?
Yeah. Well, fair?
There is no fairness when
Yeah.
it comes to that.
Right. I mean, it's not.
Forget that.
Yeah, they're not here to be fair. And you know what?
There's no. In my opinion, it's synonymous with insurance companies. You know, you could have pay a premium for 25 years, never make a claim. You make one small claim, and they make you jump through hoops just to get paid from them. It's the nature of the business. I mean, they can. The answer is they can.
Yeah.
They're not regulated.
But what can you do? What can you do
Pay.
to stop them, though?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Pay.
As long as you're the one who's in violation of the agreement, there's really nothing you can do.
I mean, I would say this: if you are continually paying every month and you're just behind 1 month, several months ago, and you haven't caught up, it might be beneficial to talk to someone there, and you might be able to get an arrangement from them to pay a tiny bit extra every month to catch up, because they are accepting your monthly payment every month now. So it might be beneficial for you to talk to somebody and try and talk to them about it. If you just let the machinery go, quite honestly, it's all computer driven. There's very few times that anyone's ever even looking at it. It's all done automatically. You miss a payment 1 day late, and boom, you get a notice. 1 month late, boom, you get a charge. 2 months late, boom, you get a letter. So call them and say, look, you're accepting my payments. I'm paying every month. I got behind 1 month. What can we do? And they'll come up with some options for you. Believe me, they don't want to foreclose on you if you're paying. They just don't.
Yeah.
So,
Not the way they send letters to you. Not the way they send letters to you.
Because
Every time
I
they
know.
do it.
Because it's not a person doing it. It's a computer.
All right. Now, listen, we've honored our end of the bargain.
Yeah.
We actually answered your question.
Tenfold.
What's the real name? Don't be no more Kevin. Come on.
You know what? You guys is really tough. Bob from Sharon Hill. Now, you satisfied?
Yeah. All right, Bob. Take care. Thanks for calling Court Radio, and have a great Sunday.
You guys are terrible.
Give him a T-shirt.
All right.
You want a T-shirt, Bob? Oh,
1 second too
Wow.
late. 1 second too late. He gave up 1 second
good,
too late.
because we wouldn't have given it to you anyway. I'm just going to tease you with a T-shirt.
Lord. All right, let's talk to Rebecca from Vineland, New Jersey. Hello, Rebecca, and welcome to Court Radio.
Good morning. How are you?
We're wonderful. Having a good time today. So, what's your question? And
Okay,
wait. Sorry. Is Rebecca your real name?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. We got an honest woman here, an honest woman.
Let me lay the foundation for you really, really quickly.
Okay.
Okay, my place of employment had a particular dental insurance that they offered. I had that dental insurance. I take my child to get braces, and prior to them even starting the process, I had to pay my full portion of the percentage that I needed to pay that was in excess.
Your deductible or copay you had to pay up front.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
This is a significant amount of money. I'm talking like $1,500.
Okay.
But I paid my portion. So fast forward about a year in, because, once you pay, you're paying for the placement and 2 years of maintenance as well.
Right.
So fast forward a year, my employment drops the insurance company that was paying for their portion of the braces.
Okay.
Now, their process is to pay the dentist quarterly, okay? So they don't just cut a check for the whole thing. They pay them quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
So in the midst of them being dropped by my employment, they were left with a balance of like $1,500. So
they're still on the hook.
Maybe.
because they weren't completely paid off by the insurance company. Now, I
Right.
paid my part.
Right. They want you
The-
to pay.
They want to give me a bill.
Right.
Interesting.
Interesting.
It's really an interesting question as to when the services are provided. In other words, is it pay as you go, or is it we want our job is done in the beginning? See, this is an ongoing job. What if your child moves from that dentist to like you move to another part of the country and you've got to change dentists? Do you owe them for the work that they did all up front, or will you owe them? Will you owe them as they do the work on your kid's mouth as time goes by? Because if you owe them, go ahead.
It was explained to me that let's say for example, the braces were $5,000.
Right.
$5,000 covered the installment as well as 2 years of tightening.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
I paid my percentage of that $5,000.
right.
Yeah, I personally think that the insurance company that insured at the time you were working is responsible.
It's liable, yes.
I think they're responsible for it because you were insured under that policy and they agreed to pay. Now, if their policy is they pay quarterly just because that's how they pay out the payments, doesn't matter that it's been canceled now because it was in effect at the time that you entered into the agreement. A lot of it depends upon but you don't know what the agreement between the dentist and the insurance company is as far as accepting payment.
I'm going to take the opposite position, and I'm going to say the dentist did not perform all of the work. That tightening part, that's a part of the job, and he can say $5,000, but it's not $5,000 to install the braces. It's $5,000 to install them and then to tighten them for 2 years and monitor your child. And so if he only does, let's say he puts them on, and then the very next week you get transferred to Timbuktu, and off you go with your family, and your kid has to go, obviously, to a new dentist. That dentist isn't getting $5,000 just to have installed the braces. See, that's the question.
Yeah,
but
you see,
I guess
I disagree.
No one has gone anywhere. It's the same dentist.
No
one has gone anywhere.
I know that. I'm just using.
He's using that as an example, but I disagree with you because the contract.
And I'm going to give it to David because little Davy had braces.
Yes,
Dean didn't. I was born with perfect teeth.
Yeah, they really look perfect. That's why I was going to say I had braces and I know how they work, and I also know how they're billed. And 99% of the time, people don't have dental insurance, and they're required to pay either up front or they work out a payment plan with the dentist. But that's not to continue the treatment. It's here's how much your braces cost. It's going to cost $5,000, and that's the installation.
So even if you move to Austin, and 3/4 of your tightening is done by another dentist there, who you're going to have to pay.
Right.
You're paying double.
No. That can be something that's worked out. But see, this is where I think the insurance issue comes into play. If her dentist, the one that said it's going to be $5,000, said you need to pay us up front, and then their agreement with the insurance company was we'll allow you to pay us quarterly. Then the dentist, I think, has the beef with the insurance company. She should be out of this. She shouldn't be required to pay the future treatment now because she hasn't moved. Now, if she did move, then there'd be an issue, I think, where you could say to her, hey, you moved. You need a new dentist. And
how about the employer who changes? What did they do? Change dental plans midstream?
They did. They sent out a notice saying that they were going to be dropping this particular dental plan, and that they were going to allow for a short open enrollment for people to pick other plans. So I chose a plan that I knew that my dentist that I was already with was going to accept. And then once that happened, they sent me a bill saying, "Well, we didn't get paid this money. You owe us $1,500. You start next week."
Right,
and they can't build a new one because it's already done.
They can't build a new one. They can't build a new one
because it's already done.
You got caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. I don't think you're responsible though, but the getting out of it is going to be a hassle.
But if she's going to bring a claim against somebody, you're going to have to bring a claim against the insurance company not the dentist himself.
But I think the first thing you would do is argue to the dentist that his beef is with the insurance company. It wasn't your agreement to get paid quarterly by the insurance company. That was between the dentist and the insurance company. He accepted that and said he'd be paid quarterly.
Hey, how old's your child?
She's 16.
16. Okay, so this is all ongoing?
Yes, it is happening like right now.
Okay, kind of old for braces.
I went to the dentist and said, look, okay, this isn't my issue. I paid my portion up front. And they whipped out a piece of paper that I'm sure everybody who has an insurance that requires a deductible or where you have to pay a percentage, that you are responsible for that percentage. You sign off and say, yes, I'm responsible for that percentage. Now you're whipping this out and telling me I'm responsible for not just my percentage, but whatever the insurance company chose not to pay you because they were dry. That.
Well, what's all that's if we're really talking about what you were saying, just the tightenings?
Right.
Maybe you stop going to the dentist and say, well, I'm not paying you. I don't have it. Sorry, that's not the agreement. You might have to go to someone else at that point, but the question is, how much are they going to charge you?
Yeah, I'd love to see the contract, and you should read it very carefully because that's really the be-all. Your relationship with that dentist, male or female, whoever it is, your relationship is really bound by the four corners of the documents you signed. So you need to read them, understand them, and see if there is something in that document which would entitle you to say to the dentist, not me, you got to go after the insurance company.
It was very short, and I am very well at understanding things. I should not have been sent a bill in a coupon book.
Okay. Well, listen.
Well,
I'll tell you, I'm going to give you the last little trick here. When there is any ambiguity in a contract, when there's any confusion, when there's two ways to look at something, it's always interpreted against the person who drafted it. So that's to your advantage because in contract law, when you go to the court, if it's not crystal clear that you owe that money, chances are a court's going to say you don't owe it. So there you go. You got your little tip for the day from my Philly lawyer. Thanks.
You got to argue it.
Becca.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you, and so does everyone else who had that insurance at my job. Thanks you. It's a big issue right now.
How much longer is it? Your son or your daughter who's got braces?
Daughter.
How much longer before they come off?
Another year.
Okay. Has she been good about the rubber bands and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Let me ask you this question real quick.
Sure.
The insurance company, I really think they need to be taken to task. It's the insurance contract that needs to be looked at because they're providing. It's just like an automobile accident, Dean. Right? You've gotten clients who call you and say, I was in an accident 2 years ago with State Farm as my insurance. Let's say I don't have them anymore. I have Allstate. And the person I was involved with just sued me. And guess what? They have to go back to State Farm and give them that claim because State Farm insured them at the time the claim was made.
Yeah, you sound like you're willing to let the insurance company off the hook too soon, too. That's what I keep coming back to. You got to go. Not only do you have to look at the dentist and say, hey, not me, but, hey, you need to go against the insurance company.
This insurance company was in effect. This policy was in effect at the time you engaged to get the braces. They're obligated to pay. It's as simple as that.
But as a practical matter, now that the braces are on little daughter's mouth, what's going to happen when the dentist says, I'm not tightening it anymore? I'm not doing anything anymore.
You might have to go to somebody else, but I don't know if they can even do that. If that malpractice.
Patient abandonment.
Yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
I see a huge class action lawsuit. Rebecca versus the Dental Association of America.
I want to go against the insurance company.
Rebecca, have a great Sunday. Yes.
Call us. You can email us or call us during the week.
Hey, Rebecca, didn't you say this was a quick question and you were going to get through it quickly?
Yeah.
You've monopolized half the show now. All right, goodbye.
Call us during the week or email us and we can explore this a little more.
We got to go to our sponsors. They're paying our bills. Yeah. We'll be right back, folks, in 2 minutes.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. It's a legal and financial squeeze. You're unable to work because of an accident, but your legal case is still not settled, so you can't pay the bills to take care of your family. But now, thanks to U.S. Claims, you can. If you have a pending lawsuit, call 1-877-U.S. Claims. While you're waiting for your settlement, U.S. Claims can help you pay the bills. Get out of the squeeze. Call 1-877-U.S. Claims today. If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weitzman is all about.
Call My Philly lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly lawyer, when winning matters most.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Welcome back. It's Court Radio, and I'm still Dean Weitzman. And I'm joined in the studio with my co-host, the one and only, the inimitable, angry David M. Rappaport.
Angry? How am I angry?
You know you spend
against insurance companies.
You're
maybe.
a lifetime of anger.
No.
Folks, it's March the 15th. It's Sunday. We're going to have a little wind, according to our weatherman, David.
Yeah, I've been so accurate in the past.
And that's what weathermen do. They make a lifetime of being inaccurate. David sent our listeners out on the road one Sunday when it was the greatest ice storm in Pennsylvania's history, telling them it was beautiful out. I don't know. You might have single-handedly, David, caused a few crashes
I know.
that day.
Almost ours.
Yeah, almost ours. So, 215-227-2727. The lines are still crazy lit. Let's take Robin from Claymont, Delaware. By the way, nobody's called about Septa. Claymont, Delaware. Robin, hello, and welcome to Court Radio.
Hello.
So,
How are
we're doing wonderful. You've got a good radio voice. Have you been on radio before, Robin?
Never. Never.
Is Robin really your name?
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Robin Juveniliano.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, okay.
Yeah, right.
That's a mouthful.
We're gonna call you Jessica for today.
Okay. All right, listen, you got to listen to this whole thing, okay?
Oh my God! Wait, do we?
Make it fast.
You realize we have a button we can just push, and you're gone.
I know. Don't do that. I really need information. I met my boyfriend. He went to buy a house in Delaware. We're from Philadelphia. He bought a house in Delaware. We weren't married. He got it on his VA bill because he was a veteran. So they wouldn't put my name on there. About 3 years later, we got married, and we just didn't bother about putting my name on. He passed away in 2008, so my name wasn't on the house, and he didn't have a will. So he has 4 kids in North Carolina, and the house went into foreclosure because I couldn't do nothing because in Delaware, like, I own 70% of it, and since he didn't have a will, his kids own 30%.
Okay, so there is the intestacy laws, okay, and what that means is when somebody dies without a will, whether it's Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, every state has a formula for giving away somebody's property when they die without a will. And when you have children from a previous marriage and then you have a subsequent marriage, the wife, you do not collect 100% of your husband's property that's not in your name. Now, had that house been in your name, different story. It transfers right to you 100%. But because the house is in his name, it's in his estate, it gets transferred according to the laws of Delaware.
Yeah, and you also, one of the things Delaware provides, a life estate to the surviving spouse.
Right. So
in the real estate. So
she can stay there
until she passes.
Correct. However, she has a 70% interest according to her.
Yeah, the law is the first $50,000 goes to the surviving spouse.
That's the way it is in Philly.
And then half
Pennsylvania.
Half of the estate after the first 50.
That's the way it is in Pennsylvania.
So the property must be valued at what, $100,000 or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
More,
See,
a little more.
A little
right,
bit. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Okay.
Not in the property. It didn't get foreclosed, but the bank has it and is trying to sell it because I guess they stopped the foreclosure about a year ago.
Life estate.
They need the kids to sign.
Not the life estate doesn't jump over the mortgage holder.
Yeah.
So if they're not paying the mortgage, life estate goes out the window.
Right, so go ahead. So
I'm not in the house. They're not there.
Right.
And I signed papers to let the mortgage company
sell it. Right.
But they didn't.
They won't sign.
Interesting.
But my credit is going on my credit as, you know.
How could it go on your credit? It can't go on your credit if the house was never in your name.
Never in my name, but I was power of attorney or power of estate or whatever. Yeah. But it's on my credit report.
But it really is only because you're the power of attorney, perhaps. But you really should file an explanation with the credit bureau saying that this is not your debt, it is not your home, and you're nothing more than a beneficiary of that property because your credit should accurately reflect your relationship to the property so that everybody understands it's not your debt.
I went through that. I still give like sewage and where we lived in Newark, you have you like cut the grass and all that kind of stuff. I still get bills and stuff. This is what I want to know. They're not going to ever sign because they want money and they think that I'm getting money from it, which I'm not.
Right.
I don't have.
Well, see, the thing.
Foreclosing.
Okay,
so.
Here's the thing. Not that it may be worth it to do it in this instance, but there is a remedy. You have a remedy. You can go to court. Okay, I'm going to use Pennsylvania because that's where I'm most familiar. You can go to the Pennsylvania Register of Wills, raise an estate, and then go to the Register of Wills to have any issues with regard to an estate litigated, so that you could force the children to sell the property, whether they sign or not, when it's in the best interest of the estate. And they're nothing more than beneficiaries of the estate. But you, as the administrator of the estate, have to get rid of all the property and take care of the debts of the estate. If somebody is standing between you and your job to do that, you can get the authority of the court behind you to force a sale on a property and you could bring those. Now, I'm sure that there's a mechanism to do that in Delaware. And so, but it's going to require you to probably retain an attorney in Delaware to bring you into the courthouse so that you can get a judge to sign off and do away with this property. So it's if the property were worth $1 million, okay, it would be an easier decision. $100,000 and there's debt. How much is owed on this property?
Oh, it was 100 and. When it started the foreclosure, before they stopped, it was like 172.
And so what you're telling me is the mortgage on the
it's upside down.
Yeah, the property
I moved out 2 years ago.
The property is upside
down. There's no equity.
There's no equity. It's worth It's worth
negative
less than what's owed on it. Yes.
Yes.
Well, I don't even know why it matters.
It's like
why does it
care rating and everything?
Let me ask you this. Why does it matter whether it's whether you sign to let them sell it or whether they just foreclose? If it's going to the same result's going to happen.
You're not getting anything out of this property.
Okay, yeah, I don't want nothing out of it. But like you said, my name. I had to file for bankruptcy. That's the only thing on my bankruptcy. That house. and the kids don't get no bills or nothing like sewage and clean up of the property around the area.
Well, I would solve that.
You got to solve that issue.
I would solve that.
That's the issue you got to solve.
I would solve that issue by making sure that you report to all 3 credit agencies that this property and all the debts associated with this property are not your debts.
You're not even on the deed.
You're not on the deed, and you're nothing more than the administrator of the estate of your deceased husband whose debt it was. And I think that once that's on your credit report, it will not have as great an effect as it does today. I want to thank you, Robin, for calling Court Radio. Have a blessed Sunday and enjoy your time alone. Thank you, and have a great day. David?
Enjoy your time.
Septa. We've been talking.
I know every time we get on because nobody cares.
No, that's not true.
Do you care out there?
Come on, I get calls every week on
So
Septa.
do I.
Every week. I want to know who's got a Septa claim that didn't go your way. Nowadays, all right, let's just talk some facts here.
Okay.
If the Septa bus, normally, if you're in a vehicle and you're injured and you don't have your own insurance or your own car. Monica doesn't have a car. She takes Septa. If she's in a Septa bus, okay,
right,
and that bus is involved in an accident, right, ordinarily, up until a year ago or so, Monica's medical bills would be 100% paid by Septa, up to $5,000 if she were injured while she was an occupant of a Septa bus. New rule. If the bus is stationary, it stopped at a red light, and it crashed into, Monica has nowhere to turn to have her medical bills paid. Right. They have to come out of Monica's own pocket now. That's the way Septa rolls. Okay? The courts have determined that if Septa is not in motion at the time of the collision, they don't have to pay your medical bills any longer.
Now, why is that unfair? Well, if let's say they were hit by a car, and the bus was stopped, hit by a car. The car has $30,000 total of benefits to pay out in liability.
If they have a minimum Pennsylvania
policy, and let's say there's 25 people on the bus, all who were hurt and had hospital bills and medical bills of, let's say, $3,000 each. So 3,000 times 25 people is
$75,000.
$75,000. And how much was the car only have? 30.
The bus.
The car. No, the bus is
the at-fault vehicle had 30.
And
yes,
the bus isn't paying anything.
So everybody's going to get $1,500 and
for pain and suffering and your medical bills.
Yes,
which are over $3,000 or whatever.
And you wonder how this happens.
Yeah, how
does it happens because we allow it to happen. I think because our legislature lets us down. Speaking of legislature. The smartest guy in the legislature yesterday was at the Be Beautiful Expo with me, Vince Hughes.
Oh, yeah, the smart, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to tell you why. You know, wanna know why he's the smartest guy? Vince has got a table, okay? Senator Hughes, has a table. Adjacent to his table is Shirley Ralph's table, his wife.
Yes.
Okay, there's 15 people deep at Shirley Ralph's table. Like, you could not get to see her. She had bodyguards. That's how many people were around. There were bodyguards protecting her, and she was.
How many crickets were behind?
Crickets. There was two lovely ladies sitting at his table, trying desperately to give important information away, and people were running away from the table.
Right. See, that's indicative of our entire country.
But why is he the smartest guy? Because obviously his lovely wife
is the
breadwinner.
Right, the pull.
Okay, right.
The pull.
And it's a good thing because when a politician is a breadwinner, it's an indictable offense.
Right.
if he's making too much money,
there's a reason why
he's indicted. So he has to have a breadwinner, and he got a breadwinner. She was selling these beautiful T-shirts. Yesterday I wished I was a woman. It was the only time I wished I was a woman. But she had these T-shirts with these, like these really cool sayings, and done in like sequins and stuff like that.
And they're her design. She designed them.
Yes,
wow, cool.
Yeah, these were her designs. A very design-oriented woman.
I can't wait until the senator comes in.
Cash.
How far are we away?
Oh, my Lord.
15 minutes before he comes in here.
There was so much cash going across that table.
Kill Dean.
Oh, Lord. But you know what? He really is the smartest guy in the legislature because he's happy doing what he does.
Right.
And he's good at it.
But what it's indicative of, I think what you're trying to say is that the interest of
unsuccessfully.
The interest of the masses is not on legislature and laws. When
that's right.
Frankly,
that's how we got to the senator.
When it should be normally,
right.
People should be interested in the issues. You know how long it's been in Pennsylvania that our limits of insurance for auto have been $15,000. 1530 is what we call it, which means 15 per person, 30 per accident for responsibility if you cause an accident. That is, I think, a national low. I think we're the lowest in the nation, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you, Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It hasn't been, it's in the 70s it's been that way. It's been 30 some odd years, hasn't been changed. It's crazy.
It is. And you know what? I wish that that when the part of the legislature, when they go to pass legislation,
yes,
that they did a better job of advertising what was being decided,
right,
and what the implications were, where we could all, we don't want to have to dig through. It's not fair to have to dig through these long documents that nobody can understand. The legislator can't even understand what he's signing.
Right.
So, we need it simplified. Really, just simplify it down. What are you trying to pass, and how's it going to affect my life?
You would think in the age of computers and email and, Skyping and all that stuff that we would have an easy way of doing that.
Yeah.
But I think purposely we don't.
Yeah, you would think.
To keep people ignorant.
All right, let's we're going to take a break in a minute, but let's take one more call. Let's talk to Gerald from Chester. Hello, Gerald.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you. How is Chester now that there's a casino there? Is it better or worse? Well, are you happy there's a casino in Chester?
Well, not really. I don't think it's the casino myself, and I don't really see that much of a benefit the city is getting from it.
Yeah, no money's, just like Atlantic City, no money's funneling into Chester probably.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, if there
never does
a big, that big Harris Casino down there, that a ton of cash would come in and they'd beautify Chester.
Here's what I don't understand. Every community that has this debate for years and years whether they should have casinos or not, and everyone fights them until finally they're convinced that it's going to be good for the community and bring in money. And even like in Atlantic City, they were told millions are going to go into the infrastructure. And then what happens? You never see that money. It just disappears. Atlantic City never got any of that money.
Yeah.
It was 1 block away from the casinos. It looked like a bomb. It looked like Beirut.
How long you been living in Chester, Gerald?
I've been here for probably about 40 years.
Wow. We call you a lifelong Chester resident.
Yeah, somewhat.
Where are you originally from? Philly?
No, I was actually born in Virginia, and I came up here when I was 4 years old.
Okay.
And I'm 60 years old now, so I've gotten it in.
The southern accent is all but gone.
Yeah, well, 4 years old, he started to learn to speak in Philadelphia.
So what's up?
All right, what's your question, Gerald from Chester?
Okay, I was married, and we got married in 2006. We separated in 2008. We were living together off and on. And my wife got sick, and she passed. When she passed, I was kind of like estranged from the family, and I didn't want anything to do with the after effects of her passing. They needed me to sign the death certificate at the funeral because she was cremated, and after that, I kind of like walked away. I was just thinking that maybe I should have looked into the possibility of any benefit coming to me from her passing. And I was just wondering, is there a possibility that there could be something available for me?
Well, okay. Here's the answer. Yes. And now, whether it's too late or not, I can't tell you that. But in Pennsylvania, well, let's think about the two scenarios. One, she passes and has a will, and all the property in her will goes to people like her children or whoever, the local SPCA, wherever it goes. So she's got a will and she divvies up all her property to other folks, not you. And you might think, well, I guess that's that. I'm not getting anything. Wrong. In Pennsylvania, and this is why I keep telling people to get divorced if they really want to be divorced. And because in Pennsylvania, you as the surviving spouse have a spousal election that you can make, and you can say that I'm going to take that you can't be disinherited beyond 1/3 of your wife's estate. So if your wife has $300,000 worth of assets and property, and it's all given to other people, you can jump in as the surviving spouse and say, I'm going to take my spousal election, which is 1/3 of the value of her property. And so you'd get, in that scenario, $100,000, even if your name wasn't on the will.
It's with or without a will. A will really doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
With or without a will, you get, at a minimum, 1/3 of her property.
Right. Now, if she didn't have anything, it doesn't really matter.
No.
Zero from zero equals zero.
Oh, you're
right?
so cruel.
You like that? No, I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
But if you're going to do that, at least do it with a rhythm. You're a drummer.
Zero from zero is zero.
There you go.
How's that?
All right. Let's hear what Gerald has to say, please. Gerald, what are you saying?
Oh, yeah, it's very interesting. She didn't have a lot. She had a car, and they dispersed that to one of the family members. And so I guess...
I guess you're out of luck.
She didn't have a will, I assume, right? She did not have a will?
I think she did have a will.
She did?
I think they all put that together about a month or two prior to her death because they knew that she was going to pass.
What's interesting to me is if she had a will, the only way they would have been able to do everything that they did was to probate the will at the Register of Wills and to go through it formally. And they would have had to indicate that she wasn't married. Because if they indicated that she was still married, the register knows that the spouse has an interest.
Well, if all she had is a car, they probably didn't even raise an estate.
Exactly. That's my point.
They probably didn't raise an estate, even though they're supposed to.
Right.
They probably didn't. And so, if all we're talking about is an old car,
yeah, it's not even.
Then it's not worth doing anything anyway. But at least you're our example today, Gerald, of the idea that if you're married, legally married, no matter how long you've been separated, you're entitled to your spousal share with or without being on the will.
You're
wow.
still married.
I wonder how many people's eyes opened up on that one. Gerald.
Thank you.
Hang on the line, Gerald. We're going to get you a T-shirt for being a good sport on today's show and helping other people help themselves.
All right. I appreciate it.
All right, hold on. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be right back, folks. We've got questions still coming in. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. It's a legal and financial squeeze. You're unable to work because of an accident, but your legal case is still not settled, so you can't pay the bills to take care of your family. But now, thanks to U.S. Claims, you can. If you have a pending lawsuit, call 1-877-US-CLAIMS. While you're waiting for your settlement, U.S. Claims can help you pay the bills. Get out of the squeeze. Call 1-877-US-CLAIMS today. If you have legal problems and need answers, call My Philly Lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first at 215-227-2727 for personal injury, medical malpractice, birth injury, and more. Call Dean first.
He will fight for your rights. That's what Dean Weissman is all about.
Call My Philly Lawyer, Dean Weitzman, first. 215-227-2727. My Philly Lawyer, when winning matters most.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Dean Weitzman. That's me. 215-227-2727 is the number. And I'm joined today with my buddy, David M. Rappaport.
Hello.
Hello, David.
How are you?
Sunday,
We're doing
March
well.
the 15th. We're closing it up. Let's talk to Walter. Oh, Walter. Boom. Hey, Walter, welcome to Court Radio. How are you, sir?
Yes, how you doing?
Good.
I'm well, thank you. Is Walter your real name?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Junior? Are you junior or anything?
I'm the third.
The third. Whoa, we got a third.
Walter the third.
We got a third.
All right, Walter, what's your question?
My question is, a couple of years ago, my wife, she went to go get a tooth extracted from a dentist up in Frankfurt area.
Yes.
Upon him pulling out, extracting her tooth, she later had nerve damage, which led to her getting brain surgery. She wasn't properly diagnosed by any doctor, okay? And we found out approximately for 5 years she kept on going through this pain, and nobody could diagnose her the correct way. We finally got to a doctor up in Alany who gave her the proper diagnosis, who said that she was diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia.
When was, well, let me ask you a question, just because we're going to run out of time. When was that proper diagnosis made?
11 months ago.
Okay. So the question is, it's a statute of limitations question. I'm not even going to address, obviously, I can't address whether there's malpractice, okay? But that's for another day. Yeah, malpractice requires a breach of the standard of care and damages which flow from it. But the question I want to focus on right now is the statute of limitations. 2 years. That's the statute of limitations on medical malpractice. 2 years from when, you might say, Walter? Well, I'm gonna say in the most conservative way, it's 2 years from the date of the injury, when you knew or should have known that there was an injury. And so if one can say that you had this dental work done, and then she started to have problems, and it was clear to you that the problems were connected to the dental work, then one would say that it started to run as soon as you saw those problems, and you should have 2 years from then, which would have been 5 years ago, which would be too late. On the most liberal way to look at this, it's 2 years from 11 months ago when they told you, hey, this is the problem she's got, and it's connected to that original dental procedure. And so it's not an answer that has a definite, there's not a definite answer to that question. It could be that you have a year and 1 month left on the statute of limitations. It could also be that if the problem was continuous and serious, that it goes back to when you first knew there was a problem, even though you didn't know exactly what the name of the problem was, you knew there was a problem 5 years ago, and it could be that the statute's expired. In order to get the final answer on this, you'd have to bring all the paperwork in, and we'd have to look at it in the office. And you can certainly give us a call at 215-227-2727 for that purpose.
Well, all right, stay on the line, Walter, because we need to get some information from you.
And we're going to get you a T-shirt for being a good sport and calling into Court Radio. Have a great Sunday.
Complicated issue we need to look at.
All right, be well.
Be well.
Folks, I've got to pass the baton. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
The pre